All right, welcome to the UFC 319 prediction video live from Thailand, where it is absolutely pissing it down with rain outside. So there's no sunbathing going on right now, and if you can hear the rain rapping on the windows during this video, I apologize. However, I'm going to tell you who's going to win these fights this weekend, because this fight card is brilliant. Top to bottom, I'm telling you. This pay-per-view delivers. The main event, of course, Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Dricus' herky-jerky style, his unpredictable movement, the strength, and all the rest of it. We're going to talk about Khamzat Chimaev and how he's got this new secret weapon. But top to bottom, this card is phenomenal. On the early prelims, we've got Brian Battle versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. We've also got Edson Barboza taking on Drakkar Klose. That fight's going to be a banger. Edson Barboza, the man's an absolute legend. He's on the early prelims. That tells you how stacked this fight card is. So, main event, Dricus du Plessis, Khamzat Chimaev. This is one of the most highly anticipated middleweight title fights, I think, in recent UFC history. Of course, when we're talking about title fights that are the most highly anticipated, I think you're going to go with Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 2. Remembering the first one, Chael Sonnen ragdolled him for 5 rounds and Anderson pulled out the submission in the final seconds. The other most highly anticipated one would be Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman 2, because in the first one, Anderson kind of goofed around. Weidman caught him with a shot, knocked him out, so everyone wanted to see the rematch. And then Anderson comes back and snaps his leg. It was insane. And then later on, Chris Weidman snaps his leg. It's some crazy shit, man. Like, that's something you wouldn't believe even if you saw it in a movie. And then outside of that, it's Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort. I think it's fair to say the greatest middleweight of all time, if not in the sport, is, of course, Anderson the Spider Silva. But this weekend, it's Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. The middleweight title is on the line. And Khamzat Chimaev, being the absolute powerhouse that he is, being the undefeated guy, having the strength, the confidence, the ridiculous level of wrestling, a title shot was always in his destiny. And of course, it's not going to be easy, because Dricus du Plessis, this man just gets better and better. A while ago, people talked about his cardio. He got the nose job. Now he goes 5 rounds, no problem. He can tap out an entire Gracie Black Belt team, one after the other. He's looking forward to taking on the challenge of Khamzat Chimaev. He's going to fight him at his own game. He's going to walk him down. He's going to get in his face. He's going to try and take the fight to Khamzat Chimaev, which is not an approach that other people use. Most people try and avoid Khamzat. They try and use the footwork to stay away. They try and use underhooks, fight against the fence. Dricus identified, listen, he's going to get you, so you might as well go forward. The best form of defense is attack. Now, when you look at Dricus, there's a lot of critics out there. They say that this guy's got a kind of a weird style. He's sloppy. He's unorthodox. He is unorthodox. But my God, is he effective? Okay, so you need to stop looking at that through a negative lens. Tom Aspinall was talking about it recently on the Fight Lab show that he does on TNT Sports. And even he was like, listen, I'm not even going to try and understand this guy because I don't know what he's doing. Adam Catchell was like, it's like when you're someone's button mashing on Street Fighter 2, you just push all the buttons at once, and that's Dricus going crazy.
I think we're better off just watching it, to be honest, as opposed to breaking down his style.
It feels like, do you know when you've got a new computer game and you're trying out all the controls and then the character's just doing all these random things? It feels like that sometimes when you're watching him.
Listen, he's got good jiu-jitsu, he's strong, he hits hard, he's got a good gas tank. The man's a proper fighter, and he's a big guy as well. Not as big as that picture that you saw of me and him doing the rounds, and Brendan Sharp says he walks around at 240 pounds. He's not 240, he's not that big, but he is a big lump and a solid middleweight, that's for absolute sure. And a great guy as well. I'm a massive fan of Dricus du Plessis. All right, UFC 319 is almost here, and it's shaping up to be an absolute banger with high-stake matchups and major title implications. Every moment in the octagon matters. There's no better way to feel the intensity than with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, new customers that bet just $5 can get $200 in bonus bets instantly, no matter who you're backing at UFC 319. This is your shot to get in on the action. As I say, new customers bet just $5, then get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code Bisping when signing up to take advantage of that offer. Then stay in on the action. Use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress fights right as they happen, making watching the matches is even more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have a shot to win cash prizes. Whether you're betting on Dricus or Hamzat or anyone else on the card, as I said, use the promo code Bisping. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, only at DraftKings. So how does this fight go down? Well, it's not rocket science to know that Hamzat Chimaev is going to go forward in round one. He's probably going to dominate the first round. He's probably going to get a takedown. And the big question is, can Dricus stop him? Can he defend the takedowns? Now, a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't stop the submissions. But Gilbert Burns could, and Kamaru Usman could. Now, when you look at Gilbert Burns, one of the best jiu-jitsu games in all the UFC. So you think about that and you think, well, Dricus doesn't have that kind of jiu-jitsu. But then you look at Kamaru Usman, and he was able to go to a decision, and yeah, okay, granted, ridiculous wrestling credentials, but naturally a welterweight, and he also took it on short notice. Now, Dricus has got a little bit of Gilbert, and he's got a little bit of Kamaru Usman, and he's a lot bigger than both of them. So I think he will be able to weather the storm in the first round, and I think he'll probably end up losing the second round as well. There is a world, of course, where Hamzat goes out there, slams him, takes him down, says, I want to kill everybody, chokes him out and makes it look easy. And if he does that, my God, fair play. But I think that Dricus weathers the storm in the first round. The storm gets a little bit lighter, like just here. The rain has just calmed down. We've still got a little bit of spitting. That's going to be Hamzat in the third round. There'll still be a threat. There'll still be some danger, right? I will get wet if I go outside, but I ain't going to get drenched, okay? And that's not a bad analogy, to be fair. And then I think Dricus du Plessis starts to take over, has success in the third round, starts to land, starts to grow in confidence. We haven't seen Hamzat Chimaev pushed to the limit over 5 rounds. We've seen Dricus in the 5th round and the 4th round. We've seen what he's like when he gets tired, and we know that he's still hunting the finish, just like he did against Israel Adesanya. So the man's always trying to finish the fight, even in the later rounds. I think that Hamzat, when he gets a little bit tired, he starts to coast a little bit, okay? And that's not an insult, because being tired makes a coward out of a lot of people. I'm not saying that Hamzat's a coward, far from it, but when the gas tank is gone, when you are tired, you don't want to be there. You do not want to be in the octagon, in a ring. You don't want to be running. You want to sit down. You want a drink of water. You want to take some deep breaths.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! And the reality is that for all the work that Hamzat Chimaev is going to do, that he has done, for the amount that he has pushed himself, you can't be a sprinter and a marathon runner at the same time. Hamzat Chimaev is probably the best first round fighter that the sport's ever seen. Look at the way that he handled and ragdolled Kamaru Usman, whose wrestling credentials are through the roof, by the way, okay? Hamzat Chimaev is ridiculous. He is a one-off, and that's why he's still undefeated. But can he keep going over 5 rounds? I don't think he can. I think he's going to push Dricus. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. I think Dricus is going to leave that with some new scars. He's going to be bloodied and bruised, and it's going to be a tough, absolute dogfight, back and forth, and then he's going to start to fade, and Dricus takes over. And Dricus du Plessis will still be the middleweight champion of the world, and I think wouldn't surprise me if he got a late stoppage in the 4th or 5th round. So there's the main event prediction. Now moving on to the co-main event, Aaron Pico was signed with the UFC. Now Aaron Pico, you see him on the countdown shows. He's getting fitted out with the David August suits. He's getting the spotlight. He's getting the treatment. He's making his UFC debut as a co-main event on a pay-per-view. Incredible stuff. And the guy's had a really good run. However, he has fallen short a few times in Bellator. There was always a lot of hype surrounding Aaron Pico when he crossed over from wrestling to mixed martial arts. People were super excited. Now, when you look at the record of Aaron Pico, there's 4 finishes on there. Granted, one of the finishes was because of a shoulder injury, but he has been finished on multiple occasions. And when he had those finishes, the haters kind of rejoiced. Like, oh, look at this guy. He's losing. You know, he's getting knocked out. He's not good enough, because this guy has been so successful. He really has throughout his wrestling career. He was such a good wrestler that he skipped the college level of wrestling and went straight into the international stuff. That's how athletic this guy is, and that's the kind of aura that he carries. Now, of course, he carried that into mixed martial arts, and he found out the hard way that wrestling ain't MMA, and Bellator isn't the UFC, okay? But Lerone the Miracle This guy's undefeated and he's been tested at the highest level for a very, very long time. Of course, last time out, he took on Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett knocks out a lot of people, okay? Lerone Murphy beat him over 5 rounds. Now, a lot of people were complaining that he made it a boring fight, but he made it a smart fight, a strategic fight. Lerone's got really good footwork. He's got a high fight IQ. He's a real fighter. There's no quitting the guy, and he's beating good people. Edson Barboza, Dan Ige, Josh Emmett. And I don't think that Aaron Pico, in his UFC debut, has got what it takes. Yeah, of course, he's got the wrestling, and he might just ragdoll a guy from England, okay? There's no way that the wrestling of Lerone Murphy can compete with Aaron Pico. But this isn't wrestling. This is mixed martial arts, and the wrestling up against the fence is very different. Of course, Aaron Pico knows that. He's been competing for a long time. But I think this is a really tough one for Aaron Pico to make his debut in the UFC. And I think for Lerone Murphy, if he gets the win here, we've got to talk about a title shot at some point in the future. So Lerone Murphy gets the job done, and once again, it will be a decision. Geoff Neal versus Carlos Prates before that as well. I'm telling you, this could be the fight of the night. If it's not the main event, it'll be this one. Carlos Prates goes forward, Geoff Neal goes forward. This one's going to be a car crash. There ain't going to be dancing around. There ain't going to be no footwork. There ain't going to be no strategy. Both men are going to go forward. They're going to swing for the absolute fences, and someone's going to get knocked out. The reality is this one's a coin flip. It really is. Both these guys absolutely bang. They're both entertaining fighters. I can see a case where Carlos Prates gets the job done. I can see where Geoff Neal gets the job done. Your guess is as good as mine, but I do think that Geoff Neal will be the guy that walks away as the victor. He'll win a bonus for this one. Both guys might get an extra 50k, and we as fans are absolutely going to love it. Of course, my old mate MVP's in there as well. Tough one against Jared Cannonier. Yes, he's tall, he's long, he's rangy, he's quick, he's slick, he's tricky, he's unorthodox. But Jared Cannonier is very experienced, okay? And he's fought this style before. He's been in there with the likes of Israel Adesanya. And yes, he did lose, but he does have a lot of experience. For Jared Cannonier, he's going to look to cut him off, corral him up against the fence, get a hold of him, take him down. If he can get Michael Venom Page down on the ground, I think he wins this fight. I think he wins the decision. Might even get a stoppage due to ground and pound. But MVP is very quick, he's very agile, and he's very frustrating. And he's also very, very dangerous on the feet. I don't think he stops Jared Cannonier, but I do think he wins a decision. And then opening up the main card of this pay-per-view, Tim Elliott taking on Kai Asakura. Asakura, as we know, got a title fight in his debut, went up against Pantoja, got submitted in the second round. Tim Elliott's really good, and he's a good opponent for Kai Asakura. Kai Asakura knows how to handle somebody like Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's been around for donkey years. He's always entertaining. He's very flexible and gumby. He's hard to finish. He's dangerous with the submissions, but this is the perfect matchup for Kai Asakura to get back to winning ways, to show the world what he's made of, and so that the flyweight division has yet another contender. However, never count out Tim Elliott. I mean, I am doing that. I am saying that Tim Elliott will lose this fight, but he's always entertaining. He's always in it. That said, Kai Asakura gets the job done. Right, the rain has stopped. I'm still in Thailand. We've got almost another week. Then I'll fly off to Shanghai, China. It's going to be a long time before I'm home. My voice is starting to struggle. Thank you for watching the video. Place your bets on DraftKings, of course. Use that code Bisping. Don't forget about that. I'm going to go take the kids out for a hike to a waterfall. It's just been lashing down with rain, so that waterfall should be flowing. Wherever you are in the world, as I said, thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell. See you soon.